All right, in this video we are going to do a word problem involving quadratics. We're talking about is downward speed, and we're going to talk about some equations up here that we're going to have to use. So it says a stone is thrown downward from a 100-meter cliff, travels 51.6 meters in 3 seconds. What was the initial velocity of the object? So the fact that we have meters, we have this vertical motion equation that we're going to use. So we're going to be using this. But before we jump into this, there's a couple things we'll talk about real quick. This is a height at a certain time. This is gravity pulling it down. This is time in seconds. Initial velocity, that's what we're looking for, so we won't know that value. We do know the initial height at 100 meters. All right, so here's the thing though, this equation is height at a specific time. So it's not that you're at a height of 51.6 meters in 3 seconds, because you're at a height of 100 meters and it has fallen a total of 51 meters, 51.6 meters. So what this equation is not going to tell you how far it's fallen. It's going to tell you where you're at in 3 seconds. What is the new height? The new height is not 51.6. The new height is 100 minus 51.6. So that means we are at a height of 48.4. So that's what this equation is going to refer to. So the height at 3 seconds is not 51.6. It's what the new height is. It's kind of like what you have left. So we're at a height of 48.1 because we've fallen 51.6. So if we go back to this basic equation, the negative 4.9 is gravity plus an initial velocity plus an initial height. So our height at 3 seconds is 48.4. Again, gravity is gravity. We have a downward velocity that we don't know. So at the end of this, whatever we get for our velocity, it's going to be negative. Now I did forget to sub out time. They tell us that the time is 3 seconds. So we can plug that in. We don't know the initial velocity, but it will be negative in the end. But we know that the time involved is 3 seconds, and we know our initial height is 100. So we're trying to solve for this. So we're going to put that together, subtract it over, subtract this over, and eventually divide by 3. So let's do some of that math. So if you take 9 times negative 4.9, we get a negative 44.1 plus a 3 initial velocity multiplied together plus 100. So if you put these two together, just to kind of start to clean up our equation, these two added together, well, hold on, we'll put these two together, that's going to get us a 55.9. We'll subtract it over, try to clear things away. So that's a negative 7.5 equals 3 times initial velocity, divide by 3. So our initial velocity, and here's our negative, so a negative divided by the positive is going to get you a negative, which is what we should be getting, a negative 2.5 meters per second. And that refers to the initial velocity. So you could test it and plug in your initial velocity, put all this together, and make sure that it gets you 48.4, which is your new height. And then if you do the difference between 100 and 48.4, it should leave you with the distance that is traveled. All right, so that was a little bit more challenging, definitely a different kind of a problem involving quadratic equations, quadratic word problems.